You're about to listen to TADPOG. Tyler and Dave play old games. It's a comedy video game podcast. We would like to stress that the hosts are not experts and are really just very crass commentators. Seriously, this is an explicit podcast that happens to talk about video games sometimes. So please enjoy this pretty okay podcast with Tyler and Dave.
Hello, Internet, and welcome to another TADPOG podcast. It's a show that happens weekly where two old guys talk about old games, or sometimes they talk about independent games.
Yeah.
It depends. It used to be a TADPOG staple.
TADPIG.
It is. It's a JADPIG. Josh and I talked about this on the episode we recorded on Donut County, and I said, it's perfect because Josh and Jacob, they both start with J.
Yeah.
So it works out. So pretty much these have been JADPIG episodes.
Get that new logo ready to go.
It's a very lazy alteration of the logo we currently have.
It is a Post-it note over the J.
Right. And it's just like Tyler's hair is colored. No hair is added.
Yeah.
It's just like changed to darker brown, and then like the beard. Thank you. Thank you for being like brown. It's brown, Dave.
Brown is my hair. Brown is my hair. Hello.
Hello, I'm Jacob.
I'm
brown
Jacob.
is my hair. We got Jacob here of wolf fighting fame.
Hey, what's up, guys?
We're going to talk about a little game called Into the Breach.
Yeah, it's a little game and also, not so little a game.
With a big heart. It's a little game with a big heart.
Yeah. Well, it's a big,
empty heart?
It's a big, tentacle, evil, looking heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
it's there.
Like a heart tattoo that you pick off the wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'm 19 years old and I feel like I would like to present myself as a badass.
Yeah.
I would like that heart with the tentacles on it.
But I
please.
still want a heart.
But right.
Yeah.
Because deep
I'm
down.
only presenting myself as a badass, but inside I'm
exactly.
a soft teddy bear.
I haven't graduated to full chest monster logo tattoo. So we're gonna start small and true to my heart.
There's got to be someone out there that has a chess piece of the monster logo.
Yeah, we can find it right now. You want to see one?
Kind
All
of.
right.
But
this is not gonna take long. Oh well, let's try this. Hey Siri, show me a photograph of a monster logo tattoo chest piece. Let's see how she does.
I don't think there's any way that's gonna happen.
I couldn't find any matches as library.
Thanks for checking my photos library, Siri. So I felt judged by Siri. Excuse me, Dave.
It's like, if you want one, pussy, go out and
Go
get one.
I'll
Be
find
the
one.
change you want to see in the world.
Right. Oh man, that's like the star-bellied Sneeches.
That was it. All the time. The ones that got the stars on there, it was just chess pieces.
Yeah. Man, we should reboot star-bellied Sneeches.
I got this. All
right.
I'm
Okay,
going to go
good.
home and get this script cranked out.
Perfect.
What, do you want 150 pages on Star-Bellied Sneeches?
Oh, I thought you were gonna try to make me like a deal, which like $150,000
gonna buy you out.
of the. It's like, yes, please, man. Theater is lucrative.
It's opulent.
Yeah,
There's one thing I would use to describe my life.
opulent.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's the word. Yeah. Hey, man.
Hey, I don't know when this is going to publish.
Yeah.
We were talking about that earlier because this is essentially a break in case of emergency episode.
Yeah.
You're available.
I am. Do we
And-
want to give them context for kind of the time?
Sure.
That it is?
Yeah, when it is right now that we're recording this.
Right after the most recent episode was Donut Country, right?
Donut County.
Donut County.
Yeah.
That you it's
Donut
County?
Donut Country is the
Donut
the
Kong
Donkey
Country.
Kong, right? Man, if you haven't listened to the Donut County episode that I did with Josh, I don't know if it's good, but I had a lot of fun. I'll say that. We essentially built a religion on Funky Kong, and it was one of those where we kept coming back to it, and it just felt good, where it's like, this is such a dumb, joke that we're just going to wallow in until it's either funny to someone else or it's not. It's just funny to us.
Yeah.
And that's A-okay.
But you're
I'm good with it.
already so far into it that it's like, it's worth it to keep swinging.
Yeah, might as well. Let's just do it. It's going to be, maybe it won't be funny ever, but we laugh every time, and that's all that matters to me.
Yeah, so it's right after Donut County. And so anything that you have heard since then has been recorded post this episode.
Right. Yep, exactly.
Middle of February. Mm-hmm. In case there's like...
We need an alibi.
Like
you want to go ahead and date what?
Well, in case the podcast gets released and it was like, and like America has been attacked since then.
Right. And yeah, we're here.
We're still
by Funky Kong.
Yeah.
Like America had been attacked by Funky Kong, and everyone's like, these assholes, how dare they? This is not a joke.
We're still living
Funky
in a
Kong-
world that is not beset by Funky Kong and bananas, and where we don't all have to get around via like minecart.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, what a nightmare.
So-
He's got his surfboard.
Yeah,
And he doesn't care.
he's fine.
He's fine.
It's the 1%, Funky Kong.
Do you remember when that giant Funky Kong uppercut the head off of the Statue of Liberty? Yeah, I mean,
God,
if only we had known, we would not have said the things that we said today on this podcast.
and he like grabs a giant mic and is like, if it weren't for this podcast, dudes,
Oh man, that would be like at least good
that would be a huge moment
press
for TADPOG.
Yeah, the biggest moment for TADPOG.
If as history books were
Yeah.
rewritten,
Oh man.
that they were the reason that
source.
America fell under enslavement of like essentially claymation gorillas
Pre-rendered 3D graphics.
is because of a podcast. TADPOG
Yeah.
needs attribution.
Right. Yeah. This ticket needs attribution. Yeah, we've made some Wikipedia appearances. I don't know if you know that or not.
Fuck.
We've been deleted from all of them. Someone added us to notable people of Paducah. Nope. Whoever handles that Wikipedia
man.
page is like, I don't know these guys. But to be fair, we're there with like, Stephen Curtis Chapman and like Urban Cobb, and it's like okay, sure. Alvin Barkley, like people like where it's like, yeah, these people belong on the list.
Yeah.
We didn't really belong on the list,
I think you guys belong on the list.
but it's flattering anyway.
Yeah.
And then we were also mentioned on the Son of Sam Wikipedia page because of Tyler's Call of Cthulhu game, and we were on that one for a while.
Oh man, what a bummer that got deleted.
So I don't know.
No, that sucks. It's okay. I am also not on Wikipedia for anything I've ever done. So, like, I don't think that I've ever been. Well, no, that's not true. My name was mentioned.
What about
on
the movies and
paternity
stuff?
leave one, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I don't know that there is another one for What's the Matter with Gerald or anything like that.
That's one more than I got.
Hey,
Yeah.
all right, okay.
I mean, both times I've been mentioned on Wikipedia, angels came and smote that.
But it is a thing where everyone else has a link except for me.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well,
Charlie David's got a page. Chris Salvatore has a page. Matt Riddle Hoover has a page. Your boy, none.
someone after hearing this will surely be like,
It's okay.
Jacob York regularly appeared on the podcast that did bring down the destruction from the Funky Kongs.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll totally have your own
Oh
page.
God, thinking about multiple Funky Kongs is really.
I feel like that's the
That's
first
hard.
step. He's got a big barrel. Actually, it's not a big barrel. It's just a regular sized barrel and just has his face on the side of it. And then like Funky Kongs wearing helmets and like very well fitting military suits, like with spears or like
Oh, man.
pushing humans into the barrels, and like that one by one they crawl into the Funky Kong barrel, and then like there's that poof, puff of smoke. And then out of the barrel comes a Funky Kong. Like, and they're really like animated and like doing that. What kind of walk would you? It's not like a crab walk, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I do.
It's like a walk where you kind of put your hands at shoulder height, palms down, and then you just
Bob
kind of
back and forth.
Right, that walk. That's how Funky Kong walks.
Like you're a cool surfer guy
Right.
who is like used to riding on the waves.
Yeah.
But you're on solid land.
You gotta get your land legs.
Yeah.
You gotta get your land legs.
Oh man, this is making me so sad for future Dave
for
and Jacob.
America. Oh right. Oh yeah.
Because-
no, we're not going to be thought of highly.
No, we've blown it, and particularly too, it's going to be a total bummer for Tyrone too, because like he's not even on this episode.
It's true.
And everyone's going to be like, wait a second, so like, was this Jacob guy always on the podcast? Yeah, probably. He was probably like one of the hosts
Right.
anyway.
Yeah, it sucks for everybody.
Yeah, it's a bad situation.
But I like to think that because Tyler's not on this episode,
like he'll be saved.
well, he's kind of like the hero. He's kind of like the one that they kind of forget about. You know what I mean? Where it's like all the Funky Kongs forget about him, and then like he comes around at the end, like with a shotgun, just like blowing Funky Kongs up. I hate to put that image in everybody's head,
But like desperate times call for desperate measures.
sometimes you got to shoot Funky Kong in the back of the skull. Sometimes you got to do it. That'd be a lot of teeth. Because like when I think of Funky Kong, I just think of like teeth.
Well, I sent you
and
that.
shades.
I sent you that picture that I took from at
Funky
the
Kong?
of Donkey Kong at the Nintendo NYC store. I know I sent you the picture of that Kirby shirt, which
Yes,
was
yeah.
dope as shit.
Sure. What was the Donkey Kong? It was probably one of those where I was like, oh, Donkey Kong.
Yeah. Donkey Kong. This is
DK.
going to be a really compelling audio. While I look through my photos.
The media demands that you, the medium demands that you please go through your photographs.
Don't worry, I'll send this picture and everyone will love it.
Is it Donkey Kong
Look at
with
this guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's frightening. I don't remember getting that.
So many teeth, so
Lots
close
of
to his
teeth.
face. I love it so much. But then, I got that guy there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Toad.
My
It
boy
was-
Toad.
It was very sweet. It was a good time. It
Toad.
was a good time being there.
But instead of red dots on his hat, it's a hat, right? We can go ahead and we can all
Yeah, it's
agree
a
that it's a
hat.
hat, that it's
Yeah.
not part of his head.
No, it's a hat.
It's
Are
a-
there people out there that think it's part of his head?
Yeah. And I think
I mean, I guess I get it.
in Nintendo
Mushroom
canon,
Kingdom,
it's part
but-
of his head. But-
What?
yeah, like in the canon, I'm pretty sure it's part of his head.
I feel like I've seen it before off of it.
Yeah, but that was in.
And he's got a different, like, Captain Toad treasure tracker.
Oh, no, see, I haven't played Treasure Tracker.
Or doesn't he have, like, a different hat?
I think he actually just has a headlamp
fuck.
around
Yeah,
around.
Maybe I'm
his-
wrong.
Which, if that's the case, that's a hat on a hat.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe it's part of his head.
So I don't know. But in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, he 100% takes it off of his head.
Yeah.
And uses it, I think, as a hang glider. So we can all agree that that's probably enough.
Yeah, that's canon.
That's enough. I would say it's nothing from that cartoon is canon.
No, I think that only the cartoon is canon and the video.
Oh,
games
everything
aren't
else,
canon.
right? The thing that the cartoon is based on.
That is what
that's
makes
the bullshit.
more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, think about it. Just think about it.
King Koopa, though. Let's break this down.
I was actually thinking about that the other day. If we have time for me to go on a dalliance about
Yeah, let's do it.
Super Mario Brothers, that
On a video game podcast?
I know.
Get the fuck out.
I really look at because of Super Mario Brothers 3, my perspective on the Mario Brothers has completely changed. Whereas essentially,
Did you just play Super Mario Brothers 3 recently?
No,
or?
but when people said, "Oh, Super Mario Brothers 3 is a play," the idea of
I
it,
gotcha.
because it starts with the curtain opening and
Right.
all of the.
When you said that it's a play, my eyes got wide, and I was like, "Did they make a play out of Super Mario Brothers 3?" And I never heard about it.
No, sadly.
But then I caught up to what
Yeah.
you're actually saying, right? The
So that-
game itself
exactly
is a play.
and that basically that everything continues to come back to Super Mario Brothers 1.
Yeah.
Super Mario Brothers, which is the only legitimate act of heroism that Mario did, and then 2 is a dream, and then 3 is a play, and then everything after that is just
Takes place somewhere else.
Well, no, that it's some sort of performance, that all of it is performative, that it is not I just don't know that
What's real, man?
I don't I don't take Bowser seriously as a bad guy. He's a goof. He's just a total goof.
Well,
and he's been a goof
and
for
then you
so long.
play as him in Super Mario RPG, and he's very good. He's like, I think Bowser is the closest he's ever been to King Koopa in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Like, he's never been closer in video game format than in Super Mario RPG, because he's just like, he's not like evil. He's like comically evil. He's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and like everything he says is kind of like corny.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is like, yeah. Okay,
It's
he's
a
goofball.
performance of a bad guy.
Right, exactly.
As opposed to being an actual bad guy, which King Koopa, who apparently like just wants to breathe fire on you, just wants to jump on you. Whereas Bowser wants to do that stuff, but he also wants to like wear a suit.
Yeah, he wants to feel handsome sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that he just wants look, I'm not trying to defend the things that Bowser has done, because clearly I think we can all agree that he's done some really heinous things.
He's not a good guy.
Right.
But
and I am not defending him. I'm not defending his actions.
Do you think he's evil?
But I think he just wants to be loved.
Yeah.
And I think he just wants to be loved. And also, like most villains, I think he's the hero in his own story.
Mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just that his mind is really
warped.
incumbent.
It's reptilian.
Yeah. He's a lizard.
Right.
You can't hold it
or a
against him.
turtle or some kind of combination
His
of the
culture is different than ours.
Right. And we should respect the turtle culture.
Yeah.
And or we don't.
So anyway, all of that is just to say that I don't know. It's probably a total fool's errand to try and like look at the video games and be like, give me story consistency through all of the Super Mario world. But
you don't want that?
I don't
do
know.
You?
I don't want that, but I also too I look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to like. By virtue of the fact that, sorry, did I make you looked at the...
I did. I was just going to edit it out, and then you referenced it. It's in forever.
Hold up. Well, no, I'm going to take a giant pause.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Okay.
The truncate silence will get rid of that. There's no such thing as...
No, but I mean a giant pause for you to be able to edit around if you want to.
No, it's all good. We don't edit.
That's true. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the human mind wants to find connections, and I feel like I'm sure that whenever people sit down to like, even whenever they are designing like Super Mario Strikers or Mario Tennis or whatever, they think to themselves, okay,
how does this connect to Super Mario World?
Well, like what relationships do all of these characters have with each other?
Sure.
And those characters are based off of their past reactions.
Sure. And
their
like
past experiences.
Yeah.
And those past experiences are the other games. So it is kind of about like, how does this connect to Super Mario World?
It's fun to connect.
And how is it different from his relationship, Mario's relationship with Bowser in Super Mario World, and his relationship in Super Mario Odyssey, where at the end they are kind of like, but yes, spoilers for Mario Odyssey. But you know that the story is not why you play it. But where they're kind of like, not friends, but they're not, being antagonistic at the very end.
Sure.
So I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Oh, where do you fall on the whole Zelda timeline thing? Is that a thing that, because like from everything that you're saying, it sounds like that's a thing that you would love. Do you love the Zelda timeline? I
essentially do. I think that there are things about it that I'm really interested in. I do like the idea that I think Breath of the Wild did a wonderful job essentially tipping its cap to the idea of this has happened so many times before and this will happen so many times after this.
Right.
Like we are in this loop and it is important that the hero of time wakes and rescues us,
Yeah.
So I do think that I don't know that there is a specific timeline, but I don't know. I think it's interesting.
That's why I don't like to think that they're connected, because it's like one of those where it's, and I know I've said this is not my original thought. This is something that I heard and I wish I could remember where I heard it. But when I heard it, I was like, yeah, like that makes total sense to me. It's like The Legend of Zelda is a legend.
It's a legend.
And it's the same story that's being told but there are incongruities. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Wow, I nailed it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll edit it out so I don't have that lack of
So that
confidence
you don't
there after it.
question yourself.
But it's just like one of those things where it's like...
That it's the differences are the storyteller's differences, not the story's difference.
Right. And like, because of that, I feel like if they're all connected, then it's no longer... It's impossible for those two to be together at the same time, where it's like it's either a legend that's being told, it's the same story that's being told over and over again, or they are connected. And it's, I don't know. Honestly, I've said this on the show before, and I don't mean to get on the Zelda timeline thing again, but like really what I don't like about it is it feels like a thing that's just was not designed. It wasn't thought, okay, well, this is how everything's going to connect.
Retroactively.
It feels retroactive. Like, oh, people want this thing, and we'll sell more Zelda games probably if we do it. So,
but I see that. But I also think that there is something to, from a writer's perspective or from a creator's perspective, I do think that there is something to being able to look back at your past work and seeing connections. And I totally think you're right that it was not part of the plan.
And maybe,
but I do think that like being able to see patterns emerge, I think that there's nothing wrong with that. And that might lead to a different story. That might lead to a story that does connect everything. But I get your
I don't think there's and I can see, like, I don't think there's an issue with like past projects you've done influencing future projects, but it's like, it's the retroactive stuff where it's like, come on, we know the development story of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Link's Awakening was just like a fun little side project that was being worked on. And then they were like, hey, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like one of those where it's like,
oh, and now we're going to do it differently because of, no.
There's deep meaning to this.
Yeah.
And it's because another thing I don't like about the timeline is, man, sometimes video games are just video games, and that is okay. Like, I don't need deeper meaning from every game that I play. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want it from some games. Like, it's fun to think about, like the Super Mario Brothers stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's really fun to think about, but I don't want any of it to be like ever like acknowledged by
Codified.
Nintendo. Right. Because it's like,
is that I guess that it feels like that is your problem. Your problem with it is not that the timeline exists, it's that Nintendo is trying to profit from it.
yeah, I mean,
I get that.
It's kind of both, honestly. It's like not just that Nintendo's like trying to profit on it, but it's like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, some people made this up, and it's kind of like, you know how I felt like Lost was being written?
Yeah.
Where it's like the writers like just go to the forums and like see the fan theories and be like, all right, that's it. You know, we're rolling with that. Like, I don't know. It just seems slimy.
I get it. I don't know, but I also think that there is, you were talking about video games don't need to have a deeper meaning, and I totally agree with you. I have been playing a little bit of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon.
Yeah.
Because it was free on Xbox.
I like that game a lot.
And so I have, kind of enjoyed it. It is not my kind of game.
You don't like curses? You don't like moons?
I don't like...
You prefer blessings and suns?
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Absolutely. But it has been fine, but it's just been something that I've kind of like, I can turn it on and play it for 15 minutes and be fine. And it's short and I understand it, but it is just not my kind of game.
I love that. I love that game, and I love something that's happened because of it, or I assume it's happened because of it. Do you know the background of like why that game exists? Mm-mm. That game, that 2D version, is a Kickstarter stretch goal. When the Bloodstained game was kickstarted, that was one of the stretch goals. If we reach X amount of dollars, there will be a old school Castlevania style.
I didn't even know that there was a Bloodstained game.
Yeah, it got pushed back after Curse of the Moon came out, and I have heard, I don't know if this is true, I can't, this needs accreditation, like, for sure, but it's one of those where it's like, Curse of the Moon was so good that they were like, we need to work on this. We need to work on the 3D game a little bit more. Yeah, because I mean, it was like, it got a lot of attention.
Yeah,
because it's really well done. And when the main game got pushed back, it was kind of like, are they doing this because like they didn't feel like the main game did as good of a job delivering as this
Yeah.
2D game did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it did its, like, as far as like marketing goes, Curse of the Moon did its job because it's like, yeah, now I want to play the main game and see what it's about. So,
oh man, thank goodness they hit that stretch goal.
yeah, I know. I mean, I had heard about it because I remember like seeing the Kickstarter being like shared on Facebook and stuff. And I'm pretty much done backing games on Kickstarter because I've been burned like a whole bunch of times. And it's like, I know Oathbreaker Blake has brought up before where it's like, it's not like the game isn't going to come. You know what I mean? Like if you don't kickstart it, what's to stop you from just buying it when it comes out? And it's like, yeah, I guess that's right. But it's fun to kickstart things sometimes.
Well, and if people don't kickstart things
Then
don't get
happen.
made.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that like that is something, you know, I was the only game Kickstarter I think that I've ever given to. I may be wrong. But was that,
The Alfred Chicken MMO.
No, it's not Blade Runner, but it's the like D&D version of Blade Runner.
Shadowrun.
Yes.
Thank
you so much.
You're welcome.
That I gave to that.
Nice.
And that was really great. Mm-hmm. And I felt
I'm glad
like
that you
a
did
certain amount of pride.
Yeah.
Whenever, you know, I would see people talking about how good it was.
Right.
It was like I had a little part in making that happen.
I believed in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do think that it is, I don't know, I like it for video games, but I also understand your perspective because people have just been burned so much by, you know, fucking vaporware.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not just video games. I've backed a few tabletop rule books.
Yeah.
And I haven't been burned so bad on those. They've all been late. Like every single one of them has been like no less than a year late. And it's one of those where it's like, well, whatever. I'm kind of just buying this book because I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to reading it. But I'm probably never going to run it. You know, it's just kind of like one of those things. But like the video games, like I want to play that shit. I want to play that shit. Exactly. It's different because I don't know. It's just different.
I feel like a lot of I know I mentioned it last time I was on, but I really think you would love Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. That book by Jason Schreier.
Yeah.
I really think that you would love it.
See, I was confused.
2 of the games on there in that book are done through Kickstarter. And hearing the way that the way that Kickstarter allowed them to work on these games and still like pay for their kids to go to school.
Sure.
It made me want to invest more.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I think it's a really good book. I think you would enjoy it.
I was confused because the last time you were on talking about it on Minute, I think it was, I was doing the show notes for that and I was looking for like a Kotaku article.
Oh.
I'm so glad you said article because every time I call an article online, I feel like the oldest person on earth because it's like, this isn't, I call it an article because it's professionally written.
Yeah.
But I think most people just call that a post.
That's bad. But it's an article.
But it's an article, right?
Yeah.
Because someone was paid to write it. But then someone could also come back and say, well, plenty of people are paid to write posts, you know, where it's like,
I don't know,
50% off your next purchases of contact lenses.
I do give Kotaku. Kotaku gets a little bit more credit from me as a like legitimate industry news site. So I think that might be the
Again, let's
difference.
date this. We're recording this in February 2019. So this is long
hopefully
before
nothing will come out about
Funky
Stephen
Kong.
Totillo.
Right, exactly. It's long before Funky Kong took over Kotaku and used
made it
his main political platform. Like it's his propaganda machine.
Kotaku says Funky Kong great.
Too many teeth? Not for us.
5 bananas up. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want this to turn into just me talking about how great that book is, but I think you would love it. I
need
really
to
think
read
it's
it.
worth listening
I've
to.
got a lot of video game books that I need to read.
Yeah.
Like Console Wars is one that's like brought up over and over and over.
I own that, and the problem is I own it as a book and not as an audiobook. If it was an audiobook, I would have already listened to it. Yeah.
This podcast brought to you by Audible.com. Console Wars is available on there. And I've thought about just getting the trial.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do it because it's like one of those things where it's like, there's no way. Like, because what's going to happen is I'm either really going to love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like.
And then you have to spend that money on it.
Right, exactly. Right. And it's like, I can't. I'm already doing Spotify, Netflix. We're paying for no ads on Hulu. And it's yeah, I mean,
look at you.
Look at me. I'm a big fancy boy over here. I can't do the ads, man.
Yeah.
Especially like because Hulu has movies too, and it's like I don't want a commercial break in a fucking movie.
Oh, they have ads in the movies?
I don't know, but I assume that they do.
Oh, I don't think they do.
Oh, that's good. Okay,
Yeah.
well I'm still gonna pay for it.
I've actually, because I've been watching a lot more basketball because my wife is not in town currently.
And she forbids basketball.
She doesn't forbid it, but she is not psyched to watch, like Mavs Sixers on a Thursday night with me.
Yeah.
But I have actually really enjoyed getting back to just like regular old television commercials because I haven't watched them in so long. I've only watched like YouTube,
right,
Hulu, very specific branded, directed.
Right.
So like seeing something about like, hey, take a vacation in Tel Aviv is like so novel and fun to me.
It's really weird to see like when it was I saw daytime television for the first time in forever because Chris Black and I went to like a local restaurant and they had a TV in there and we went there for lunch one day and it was just like, is this what TV is like at 11:30 a.m.? I can't remember. Like I guess at college maybe I watched some daytime TV maybe, but I don't probably not. It was probably like in the background as I'm playing Neverwinter Nights or something. It's just whatever. But I mean, it was just like seeing like a car commercial was like, oh, no wonder I don't know what cars are out. Is because like I don't give a shit about cars.
Yeah.
And it's like the only time I know anything about cars is when I need a car.
You are forced to give a shit about cars.
Yeah, which happens like rarely, thankfully. Yeah. So it's like when Nikki and I we were looking for a new car because the Grand Am died, and it was like I'll put all of it on me. I learned like that I knew nothing about because it was like I learned like new models that had come out like since I last bought a car, which to be fair was like 2002. So I mean it's like, oh, okay. And then like finding out that certain like manufacturers like don't do as good a job as they used to and that kind of stuff.
My favorite show in New York were local commercials.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because the place that we stayed in had cable. And like watching cable is a really novel experience for someone who is essentially completely cut the cord.
Sure, yeah.
And only watches stuff that is a la carte and directly delivered to me. Right. That is exactly what I want to watch at the moment. But it made it feel like I was living in a hotel.
One of my favorite things to do when I travel, especially overseas, is watch TV. And it makes me feel like a garbage person.
American.
Yeah, because it's like I could be like out seeing this country right now, but I am just compelled to watch like how is it different? How is it different than our TV? And it's like it's very different, which like makes me want to watch it more because it's like I can't get this at home. I need to watch. I gotta watch it. Like I remember being in a hotel in Germany and flipping through the TV at maybe like 6 p.m. I found this show where there was this big, massive hill that like went down into a valley, and on top of the hill they had naked people strapped into giant hamster balls, and they were just rolling them down the hill, and it was just like, what is this show? Is this just a segment, or like do they do this each week? We're like, come back next week while we push down the cast of The Apprentice down the hill.
We'll see who wins next time.
Right,
they'll take on our champion.
Right, and it's like, is this like a sport in Germany that I didn't know about, or what is it? And then like going to like when Nikki and I went on our honeymoon in Spain, like the TV, like the late night TV was like all these like interactive game shows and stuff where it reminded me of, do you remember like when we were in college, like commercials for ringtones? They all,
my God.
Yeah, they all looked like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they were game shows where it's like you call in. It's essentially like HQ, but on TV. And some of them were luck based, and some of them were trivia based. I assume I don't speak Spanish, but
Yeah.
you kind of pick up on
Yeah.
what's going on. If there's
CCC.
yeah, right. If there's like a photograph, a historical looking photograph, it's in multiple choice. It's like
Yeah.
this is probably trivia.
This is trivia. I speak
Yeah,
Spanish now.
yeah. I don't mean to brag, but
Un poquito.
yeah, right. Man, let me tell you there's probably nothing in the world more terrifying, even like a Funky Kong invasion, than renting a car in Spain, not speaking Spanish, driving around, getting stuck at a toll booth, and trying trying to explain like that. You don't live here. You don't know what you're doing or where you're going. You're lost. And it's just like, yeah, it's an adventure.
That is great advice. It's great advice to be like, yo, keep change on you for toll booths.
Yeah.
Just do it, just in case.
Just do it. Because it's like it was just, we just kind of turned around and like stopped at a gas station. And I kind of like was really upset for like 2 minutes. Like, just like that feeling of like, it's one of those where it's like, it's just a reminder where it's like, you are a long way away from anybody other than your wife that you know or could help you out in a situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No one here will protect you.
Right, exactly.
In Spain.
And
go back to Paducah.
Yeah, go back and watch their late night television. But please stop by their McDonald's on the way, because that is also a thing that I absolutely 100% have to do.
I did that when I was in Mexico. Like
I would too. I've never been to Mexico, but I would totally like. And now I need to go so I can check out McDonald's.
I have only been out of the country once, and it was to go to Cancun for spring break, my senior year in high school.
Spring break.
Yeah. And we had a great time. And I've never been out of the country since. It's a total bummer. I want to go to London so bad. So bad. I'm very jealous of
Go to London.
It's money. Money. But like,
Sneak on a ship.
oh man.
Getting like a little cargo cart.
If only. I'm not bendy as bendy as I used to be. Like when I used to sneak into into railway cars.
You used to get in trouble for that all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Well,
Fuck. Should we talk
You
about
want to talk about Into the Breach?
I mean, I guess we can.
Let's do it. Jacob, do you hear that?
Yeah, man.
What does it sound like?
I do. It sounds like a bunch of mechs stomping over the seas of New York to fight the rampaging hordes of Funky Kongs.
Right, I was about to say, are the mechs piloted by Funky Kong?
They're saving us from Funky Kong.
That are burrowing out of the earth like the giant insectoid Funky Kongs.
Hands up to the shoulders like cool surf dudes.
You know what? I would absolutely. This is a challenge.
It's a mod.
Yes, I want a mod to Into the Breach where you're fighting Funky Kongs.
So get on it.
Life's a breach. Yeah, but I didn't come up with it on the spot. It was 100% the name of the Twitch stream that I did.
Still, you came up with it.
I just wanted to reuse the joke because that was one that I typed,
good.
and I was like, I'm just gonna bask. Hey Henry, come see how clever your dad is.
By the way, also, since you brought up Henry,
it'd be funny if he walked in right now.
How funny are you?
Okay, what do you know about Funky Kong? Oh shit, all my humor's based on this.
There's context. I don't know that there has ever been a more pure laugh recorded than on the Minute episode when you told me about you saying you'll have to put your shoes on and him just dropping it. That shit was so funny to me. It killed me. My
favorite thing about that story that I told you on Minute about Henry was that I had told you that story prior, but I left out the very end of the story on purpose because it's like I figured that it would get you better if you because you'd already heard the story, so you're essentially pretending that you're not like lying like, oh, this is the first time I've heard this story, but for the sake of the show,
it's a performance of a conversation.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And then so that last little bit was like completely new, and I was like, I hope this catches Jacob off guard.
Shit, I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny.
Of course, I hear the mechs coming over New York wasteland to fight the Funky Kongs, which of course ushers in a segment that we like to call Dave Reads from Wikipedia. I thought you were going to keep going. I was like, it's like inspirational. All right, that's probably good. I'm doing this thing now where I tell you to do it. And then
Okay.
all right, now we can all get. How many bars was that? Into the Breach, everybody, is a turn-based strategy video game.
Which we hope you did not want to hear us talk about.
Yeah, for the last 42 minutes. It was developed and published by Subset Games, consisting of Justin Ma and Matthew Davis. It is the studio's second game, following FTL: Faster Than Light.
Fuck the light.
Fuck the light. That's the missing LCD sound system album. Fuck the light. It features writing by Chris Avallone and music composed by Ben Prunty. It was released for Microsoft Windows in February 2018 and for Mac OS and Nintendo Switch in August 2018. I played the Nintendo Switch version.
Same.
I think you did as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you play FTL?
I did not know.
Okay.
I was interested in it, but I think that ultimately it just, the way that people described it wasn't appealing to me, where it was like, oh man, it's so fun. You have to constantly be like worried about every fucking thing on your ship. And I was just like, that doesn't sound like fun. That sounds difficult.
The reason I ask is because I think Into the Breach is based pretty much around the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
Because it is like, FTL is a roguelike in space where it's like, at any moment, if your ship is destroyed, there are no save points.
Yeah.
So you go back to the very beginning of the game. Into the Breach is pretty much the same treatment on a strategy game, where it's like if you lose all the power on your power grid, no matter when it happens in the game,
you're done.
You're done.
Pack it up. Go to a different timeline.
Right. One pilot. You can send one pilot to a different timeline.
Yeah. It's... I started playing it because a buddy of mine, whenever I was in New York, said, hey...
Stop watching commercials for a minute.
You've got to try this game. And like, I tried it and enjoyed it, but waited for a sale to pick it up. And man, You got it for sale on Switch? Yeah.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
It was it was $10, and which is why, going back to a lot of this is going to be, Into the Breach is very much in conversation with Minute because we brought up Into the Breach during
Several
that
times.
and we ended up paying full price for Minute, but because I got Into the Breach on sale, I was comparing it to a $10 experience, and God, it is a great fucking $10 experience. It is
Into the Breach.
Mm-hmm. It has so much replayability, because the story itself is not very long.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple. Essentially, the world...
There are aliens taking over the world, and you got to fight them.
Right. And essentially, all that's pretty much left are 4 islands that humanity is clinging to. And on those islands, they have, I guess, buildings that provide power for the grid, the electrical grid that keeps the Vec, the giant kaiju insects under the ground. And that's the big thing that I think is really cool about this game. I've played strategy games before.
Yeah.
This game is different in the regard where it's like, I feel like in most strategy games I've played, it's you versus an opponent.
Yeah.
And it's like you're trying to kill all the enemies. This game, there's kind of a twist on that. Your life is essentially those buildings that are providing power to the grid. Every time one of those buildings is damaged by you or one of the Vec, you lose a pip of energy off of your meter.
Yeah.
And when that meter reaches 0, you start with like 6. When it
Yeah.
reaches 0, you lose the game.
Yeah.
The Vec erupt, the power grid goes down, and the world is just like overcome by giant fireflies, locusts, beetles, the hornets,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. And Funky Kongs.
And Funky Kongs. But only, after you guys release the mod.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It does a really wonderful job of communicating what are essentially like kind of complicated ideas to you very easily and very elegantly, because there is never a moment when you don't know exactly what is going to happen.
Right.
They do a thing where, because it's turn-based, they allow you to go first, but they show you what is going to happen whenever the Vec attack.
Right. They show you all the enemy's moves.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the prediction of what the moves are going to be. And the game calls it a prediction, but they call it a projection.
Yeah.
And it is with 100% accuracy.
Yeah.
Like the enemy is going to do what the game shows you that they're going to do.
And so that gives you the opportunity to, if you see that a Vec is about to hit a building, you can maybe run over there and use an ability to push them over. So instead of hitting a building, maybe they hit another Vec.
Right.
There are...
Which is really fun.
It does just such a good job. And that was, going back to my problems with Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, here we are again.
I promise I'm not going to mention it very much on this episode. But that with Darkest Dungeon, I kept being like, what the fuck do I have to do to win? How do I fucking win you?
Mm-hmm.
And...
Kindness.
Yeah, I just wish I should have given Darkest Dungeon more smooches.
Courtesy.
But Into the Breach, they say, hey, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do to win. And you may have to make some hard decisions along the way.
Yeah, you may have to sacrifice one of your pilots in order for a building to not go down.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those, there are tough decisions that you have to make.
And ultimately, too, it's kind of a bummer, but it's like, you're going to get more pilots. Don't worry. You're going to get more pilots. So
they might not be as good.
They might not be as good. They might not be as leveled up, or they might not be as, or have as good of powers as you are used to, which was a big thing. I lost like one of my main guys, and he was the one that you could place anywhere on
at the
board
when you're choosing like your starting position, and it's like he can damage enemies like when he lands. Yeah. That I can't remember his name, but I liked him a lot too.
I don't remember any of their names.
He would always get me in trouble.
Yeah,
because like I'm kind of glad that he died, because it was like, I would place him right in the middle of it, so like he would deal damage to as many enemies as he could when he would land. But after then, it was like,
you're
shit,
right in the middle of all of the shit.
I like the idea, like it comes back to like this game being replayable, because it's like, not only are there different mech squads, like you start off with like a base mech squad, which is like a combat mech, which is like a big punchy mech, essentially a cannon.
Yeah.
A cannon mech, and then an artillery mech, which like arcs artillery shells.
Yeah.
And you can unlock a whole bunch. I think there's like 12 squads that you can unlock with different mechs. I personally haven't unlocked any other ones. You have to complete achievements with certain squads to unlock other squads.
Yeah.
And the achievements are always like a thing like I was gunning for like maybe a battle.
Yeah.
And then what happened was I got so like into the game and wanting to play the game well that I completely just forgot that, I need to unlock some achievements too.
There was one that my buddy Chris was going after where it was like, finish this island in 30 minutes.
Real time.
And so he was just like, particularly at the end, just getting so stressed out about it.
Because this is a game where you want to think about it.
Yeah.
And like, because the enemy's attacks or their actions are projected, it makes this game feel less like a strategy game and more like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
Because they're like a very elaborate puzzle game because you really have to think, well, okay, if I move this mech here, he'll be in range to attack this opponent, but him doing that is he's in the line of fire of this other Vec, but then I can take my other unit and push that one out of the way. And then it kind of like, you have to kind of follow this like sequence that you're creating.
Yeah, and you have to really be able to visualize it because they do give you the option one time per battle, right? Where you can take a turn back.
Right.
You can take a move back.
Right. And they fit that into the lore because you're time travelers.
Yeah.
And you are traveling to different timelines trying to save that world, that timeline from the Vec invasion. So it's nice because when you reset the turn, it's right in line with the story of the game, and like characters will even like there's dialogue in the game, and the dialogue I think is great. Like one of the pilots,
really hard boiled and straightforward.
Yeah. I mean, it fits. You know, it fits the tone of the game. But it's like when you use that ability, like one of the pilots will say something like deja vu, or like one of the corporate leaders, I think Jessica Kern, the stern old lady, will say something like that. So I think it's really cool. I mean, and I love like when you land, when you start the game and like the mechs land, because they're all like dropped from space and land on this small map. I love that too. Like the maps are small. They're like on an isometric grid that's maybe like what? 10 by 10.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know exactly, but they're not big is my point. It's not like Final Fantasy Tactics or something where you have to like spend 4 turns traversing the forest. You know, it's pretty much most mechs can get all the way across the map in 2 turns max.
Yeah, you're going to immediately be fighting.
Right.
This is not a thing where you have to travel to each other.
Right, exactly. And it's also not a thing that you can really grind, which I think is great because it's like every time you land, you have a certain number of turns you essentially have to survive. And that's all you need to do is last through all the turns, meaning that all of your mechs are standing and you have enough power left at the end of that round in order to go to the next round.
Yeah, it is. And it's a really well designed game. I think, I defer to your opinion as the designer, of course, but it is. I like the way things look in the game, and I also like the way it feels. Like, it feels like you see the mechs land and they have weight. Yeah. You know?
The sound design is great, I thought, because I really thought about, like, why do I love it when they land? And it's because they do a great job, like, with the sound. Like, the sound is really good. It's all pixel art.
Yeah.
And the animation is wonderful because, like, when they land and hit, like, dust swirls up from where they land, and it's like, that's a nice touch. And then people in the buildings are like, the Rift Walkers are here, and it's like you'll see like a word balloon saying like, honey, get my glasses, and it's like, Mom, they're here to save us. And it's like they do a good job of like that game needs
setting
that.
you in the world,
right? The game needs that because it's like otherwise it gives me a human connection. It's one of those where it's like, oh shit, like they want me to know that there are living civilians in those buildings, and it adds weight to the like. I wanted to save those buildings anyway because they are literally what's keeping my game going. Yeah. But it's like, let's throw another layer on there where it's like, hey, there are children in that building.
Yeah. and like, all of them are going, if the vet gets it, they're thing gone. Is done.
Right. It's toast.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. As I am in the middle of talking about it, actually, there's part of me that is like, I don't know how much there is to talk about it because I just think it's a good game. I just think that it is a very good game that has a ton of replayability. If you're going to it because you want a story, I think that's a mistake.
It's not a good reason to come to the game.
Yeah, but like the mechanics of the game are so clear and elegant. I will say this about it. I started playing, I read essentially like a tip page about it being like a tip article, if you will.
Is this on GamePro.com? Does that exist? Probably not. Let's buy it.
Yeah, we should.
Let's buy it.
I can't.
I'm sure that's less than $10,000.
Yeah.
Which they wanted to charge me for hypercritical.com.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to be Scary Terry again or whatever.
Right. Let's buy the licensing rights.
Man, that would be a fucking coup for TADPOG.
Yeah, that
would
be
be
enormous.
awesome.
Yeah, it'd be enormous. Welcome to the hello internet, and welcome to the Game Pro podcast. It's a show that we bought for $50,000.
It was a good thank you for your Patreon money.
Right. We've been
You
saving.
just got your waifu picture.
Right.
That's a great stretch goal. $50,000
Right.
to purchase Game Pro.
Yeah, it's just a guess. Maybe I should get in touch with the Game Pro people. I don't know.
But
They're probably like what? Time Warner or something now.
yeah, that's
AOL,
true.
Time Warner.
It's like you're not doing anything with it. Just give it to
Yeah,
me.
just give it to us.
But I started playing initially on normal, and then later it said, "Hey, like play on easy for a while." And I did, and had a really enjoyable time playing on easy.
Yeah, me too.
But also too enjoyed the move up and challenge to normal after that.
Same
you know?
here. When I finished
I
the
knew
game,
what the fuck was going on.
Exactly. When I played the game on easy, I streamed it on Twitch, and that was after having played it a few times on normal.
Yeah.
And not getting to the end.
Yeah.
The farthest I got on normal, there are 4 islands, and you only have to unlock 2 of the islands. You only have to complete 2 of the islands in order to enter the final battle.
the final battle, yeah.
But I'm the kind of gamer,
Yeah,
I'm the kind
come
of
on.
player where it's like, I want to see all the content, and I want to keep leveling these characters up and improving these mechs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to just see how far I can get. I want to do all 4 islands before I do the final conflict.
Yeah.
Even though the game tells you the final conflict is going to scale in difficulty dependent on how many islands you've completed.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like if you complete 2 islands and do the final fight, play final fight, it's going to be easier than if you've completed 3 or 4 islands and then gone into the final fight. And the islands also do that too, because it's like once you unlock all of the islands, or anytime you unlock an island, the next time you play through the game, you can do the islands in any order that you want. You don't have to start at the archive, which is like the kind of foresty island where they've essentially terraformed it to look like old Earth, the way things were before the Vec showed up. And then there's also this ice island, which it's too cold for life, so there's just mechanical life. So it's like AI and robots and stuff like that, that are frozen. And a lot of the obstacles in the game involve like Vec breaking a glacier or something that's holding a robot that goes amok when it comes out.
And all of the robots are not all of the robots, but a lot of the robots are against you, and it's like, guys,
and they're a pain
come
in the
on.
ass
They're
too,
a giant pain
because
in the
they
ass.
usually have those like long laser attacks that like will damage several tiles, and they stretch across the entire map.
And it can't just be a situation where you're like, oh, I'll just dodge, because if you are not in the way, maybe it'll hit a building.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
like, I don't know. It is but then also too, those normally only have 1 health, but still you have to spend a turn, and turns in this game are so precious.
Yeah, because essentially you really only each unit gets like maybe 3 or 4 turns.
Yeah.
For one combat.
Yeah.
So that makes it sound like it's a short game and that you breeze through it. But I know we talked about this already, but I want to stress it's one of those things where it's like you think about your turn for a long time. And it's like another thing, I think this game is very well put together, because what I do when I play it is every turn I try to get a perfect turn. And by perfect turn, I mean none of my mechs take damage, no buildings are destroyed, and we wipe the board clean of Vec. Like that's the goal every time. Even if I don't meet that goal, if I work towards it, it's going to mean that the next turn is going to be better. Mm-hmm. Because this is like one of those games where it's like, if you don't treat every turn like it's the last turn, you will get overwhelmed by Vec. Because like each turn, more Vec are burrowing out of the earth. Like 3 or 4 on normal, like are coming out each turn. So it's like, it's important to keep their population under control because you only have 3 mechs at any given time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have an NPC helper.
Who you normally have to wait a couple of turns before they come online.
Right.
And you can attack with them.
Right. And they can't take damage or you
Or
lose.
you'll fail
an objective.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of one of those where it is, it takes a long time. Each turn takes a long time because it's like, I want to make sure that I do everything right. And because of that, like I was playing it earlier and I got to, each island also has like a boss fight essentially. When you complete 4 sectors on the map, I mean, you can choose, because there's more than 4 to choose from. I mean,
And some of them give you, essentially like, a currency.
right. You can either get power back on your
Yes.
grid, or you can get corporate recognition, which are represented in stars for the corporate currency, and lightning bolts for the power grid.
Yeah.
The stars are spent after you complete an island. You can spend those stars on cores to upgrade your mechs. You can spend them on additional weapons for your mech because every mech, this is where it gets even more customizable. Not only are there different pilots that you can put in a mech, give each pilot with their own special ability. Like Isaac Jones is a pilot who allows you to restart your turn twice instead of once.
Oh yeah, I had that guy.
Vera was one of my favorites for the longest time because one of the Vec tactics is some of them will web you up. And it's like, if your unit is webbed up and cannot move, you're essentially down to 2 mechs. That mech can still attack, but they're not able to intercept like a Vec that's trying to destroy a building. It's like a huge, like, I hate being webbed up.
Yeah.
So I rolled with her for a while because she has immunity to being stuck to the ground. There's another pilot where he gets bonus experience.
Yeah.
And as they level up, essentially every pilot has 3 skills that they earn, and those are randomly generated. So it's like they can get a bonus to HP, they can get a bonus to movement, which all translates to your mech. They can give you bonus to the power grid. Because there's another layer where it's like once your power grid is full, if you continue to increase it, the defense of the power grid goes up.
That's the other thing too, is that there are moments where every now and again the Vec will attack one of the buildings and you'll be like, fuck,
right.
No, oh no. And out of nowhere, the building will remain standing.
Because it'll shield itself because of the power grid defense.
So not only do you have different mechs you can use, not only do you have different pilots that you can use within those mechs, but also too there are different weapon loadouts that you can use on the mechs.
Because every mech has their primary weapon, which is already built in, and then you can tack on another weapon to that. Every mech that the 3 starters, you can put a secondary weapon on there as long as you have the power. Like everything, you have to have a power core. Then this is where it kind of gets into like FTL territory, because in FTL you could upgrade rooms in your ship, but you needed to have the power to do it. So it's like. And it's one of those things like the game is incentivizing you to do more challenging missions where you might get 2 stars instead of 1 star because you're going to want to spend that to upgrade your units.
And it is a real, like, you think everything about this game you have to think of carefully.
Yes.
If you don't, you have to think of how you move carefully. You have to think of which area to attack carefully. You have to think of how you're going to spend your currency carefully. Everything in this, it's a very considered game.
It all matters. All of your decisions have weight. And I mean the items that you get for corporate rewards after you finish an island, those are randomly generated. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like the things in this game that are randomly generated only prolong the experience in a positive way. They only add to the replayability. It doesn't really take away from anything because I never feel cheated when I play the game. Like whenever something happens, it's kind of something bad happens. It's very much a game where it's like, well, I didn't see that. That was my bad.
But ultimately, it is because it is on you.
Yeah.
It makes it clear the entire way. It is, I would say that since we were talking about Mario earlier and how...
The Into the Breach timeline. I would like to legitimately see that.
I would too. I am interested in this world, but I also think that they do such a great job of giving you rationale for why they don't have time to talk about the world.
Right.
You know, because it is moving the entire time. The second that you are done saving a timeline, you are on to the next timeline. You do not have a second to celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the pilots essentially say, okay, on to the next timeline.
Yeah. Yeah. And only one of them is going.
Right.
And two of them stay behind. So I'm glad that you leveled up all of those people.
Right.
But it doesn't fucking matter.
Exactly.
But in the same way that like Mario, if you are unable to get to an area in Mario, it's like, that's your fault. Because
right, you have the tools.
Mario has given you all of the tools to be able to get to any area you want to get to in Mario. That is how I feel about Into the Breach. It has given you everything that you need to succeed. It is up to you whether or not you succeed. Get good, noob.
Yeah.
So
spend 10 minutes thinking through a turn, because literally that's like today I was playing on normal and there was a fight where it's like, I know there's a solution. Like, I know there's a perfect solution to this. I just can't find it. And I did. I spent like 10 minutes and it's like, it feels good at the end of that 10 minutes where it's like, there it is.
Yeah.
Then I get really anxious because I'm like, don't fuck up the execution. Because it's like, you do like, and by that I don't mean like there's not
you can
skill
do stuff
involved,
out of order.
but it's timing. Exactly.
Yes.
That's the worst feeling, is when it's like, I got it figured out. And then I do the wrong thing first. And it's like, oh,
yeah.
God. Oh, damn it. It's all no good now. So, yeah. But again,
and
that's
I have
my
already
fault.
used my
revert
go back
time.
in time. Yeah. No. Yeah, it is. I don't know. I think it is a very good game. I think top to bottom, it is a very good game. And I think that it's like so worth $15. The fact that I got it for 10 is crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's worth full price. $15. Yeah.
100%.
I honestly even think I'm kind of surprised it's a $15 game and not a $20 game.
What would you pay for this game? What do you think?
I mean,
I'm psyched to have paid what I paid for it, but like
15's the perfect price.
if someone had told me that this game was $25, I would be like, I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
I don't think $25 is crazy.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would have. I think I would have waited for it to go on sale for sure. When you were telling
may be true.
When you were telling me about it, and it's like I had heard about it, listened to other shows, and you mentioned, let's do an episode Into the Breach. It was like, yeah, okay, $15, no problem. And that was nice. It wasn't one of those where I had to like really think about it. And I was like, well, do I want to spend $15 on this game I've heard wonderful things about?
Yeah.
It wasn't a hard sell. $15 I feel like is a perfect price.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd pay 20. If it were higher than 20, I'd probably just wait for it to go on sale.
Yeah.
And because like once something gets over $20, it's kind of weird because it's like, I bet I can get it for 10 later.
I totally get that.
But when it's 15, it's like, well,
why you go ahead and just spend the money?
Right. I mean,
is it worth $5 to wait?
Right. Exactly.
For 2 months?
But which is a much easier question to answer than, isn't it worth $10 to wait? And it's like, oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I love the game. I thought it was really good. I am a little worried I'm not going to go back to it once I start playing Wargroove, because they kind of I feel like they kind of fill a similar hole, a strategy shaped hole.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I mean, I would like to unlock all the mechs just because I want to see them.
Yeah. I am excited about Wargroove. That is a game I am probably going to wait until I don't even have my Switch right now, so I can't play it, but I am almost certainly going to put that on my wish list and be like, hey, let me know if this ever goes on sale.
The thing I got excited about with Wargroove is that it's like, when I found out that it's like loaded with features, it's like, oh, you can play this game like multiplayer? Oh, that's neat. And it's like,
dude, it looks like Advance Wars.
Yeah.
It just looks like it.
I've heard the campaign is like kind of iffy. So that's kind of a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But like not like terribly so. Yeah. It's just kind of one of those where it's like, oh, well, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like I was watching Zalnop play it the other night, and it's like, this looks like, I never played Advance Wars. So to me, what it looked like was souped up Shining Force
Oh.
it's like, man, this is like, okay, I can get into this. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is look forward to a War Groove episode sometime in the future. Eventually. Did we leave out anything major about Into the Breach?
I don't think so.
I'm positive that we did, but
really, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think it's like such a, easy to learn, hard to master.
yeah,
I just think that there's really so little to the game. It's just that every single bit of it is done with so much. You can tell that they took a lot of care with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make it so easy.
yeah. I do think that I was a little disappointed that it is not as groundbreaking as FTL. Because I
Yeah.
feel like when I played FTL, and maybe it's because I'm not really like hooked into that genre.
Yeah.
I don't even know what genre you would call FTL because it was like such
Spaceship simulator.
spaceship management. It's just kind of like, it's just such a interesting concept where it's just like the concept itself is like what sold me on FTL.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, whoa, that is bizarre. Mech combat is not like, you know what I
That
mean?
is a little bit more.
That's not a concept
Yeah.
that's going to sell me on a game. Like, I'm not saying I like turn my nose up at it. I like mech combat just fine, but
that's not a reason to buy a game.
exactly. And it's like, I feel like FTL is one of those games that I can't sum up
Yeah.
in 3 sentences, but I kind of feel like Into the Breach is.
Yeah.
And that's not to say Into the Breach is at fault for, it's still a great
It's just
game.
not revolutionary.
It's just right. I don't think it's revolutionary. And I do think FTL was.
That is kind of how I feel about Witcher 3.
I haven't played any of the Witcher games.
I know. We've talked about it.
And I
but
need to.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's fine. It's like, listen, I love them, but we've talked about how you have trouble finishing games. That is a game.
Huge trouble.
Like it's a big game. But when Galen was asking me about like, what did you think? Like, how are you enjoying it? I would end up saying, like, I don't know that it's my favorite game of all time, but I do think it's on the list because it doesn't do anything revolutionary, but everything that it does perfectly.
Okay. Yeah, and that's
That's a
Into
little
the
bit how I
Breach.
feel about
I mean,
this.
like, yeah.
I just don't have the same amount of affection for turn-based strategy games as I do for what The Witcher was doing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's such I think it's incredibly well done.
Yeah.
Huge fan.
Into the Breach or Witcher 3 or both.
Both.
The reason I need to play Witcher 3 is because I own it.
Man,
Yeah, I've got it in cellophane in my bedroom. But I can't, dog, because I'm going to be playing Apex Legends until I die, apparently.
I have heard good stuff about that game. What is it even?
Okay, it's a battle royale game.
Yeah, not interested. I'm out.
This is the first one I've played.
Yeah.
Because I played Fortnite before. It was like a PUBG
meme.
spin-off. You're right, yeah. Man, I've learned how to floss and everything. It's great. Outside of the game. PUBG, I know probably
Yeah.
not. Did you ever play PUBG?
No, I didn't play any of them, but I'm
Okay.
familiar with.
Okay, so it's one of those.
Yeah.
But I think
Oh, I know what battle royale games are.
they they fit. But they like really
I'm on a
find
video game podcast, Dave.
Okay, it's true. I'm sorry. All right, I was about to say, how could I explain battle royale games to you in terms of Funky Kong?
I know what
because
they
I
are.
feel like we could like really
Call
connect.
of Duty Blackout.
Right. Okay.
I know.
Right.
I get
okay.
it.
All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't know why I got down. But like, it's one of those where I feel like they're hitting that sweet spot where it's like it feels friendlier than PUBG.
Yeah.
But it feels more adult than Fortnite.
Oh, I get that.
So I feel like they've found the spot.
The character design looks kind of Borderlandsy, and that's fun.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the character design, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it's just because they all kind of just seem the same.
Yeah.
To me, except for the robot character.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just because like comparing it to like Overwatch, where it's like every character is like designed, and like it feels like they are visually styled so that they are very different from each other
Yeah.
while still having a relationship to each other.
Yeah.
In Apex Legends, it kind of feels like they're all just kind of extras from Predator. You know what I like? That's
Yeah.
like, I feel like that's kind of like the thing. I know it's all in the Titanfall universe. It all takes place in the Titanfall universe.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Which is cool. I know
Titanfall 2 was very fun.
Titanfall 2 is very good.
Titanfall 2 was also very fun for like $8.
Yeah,
it went on. I guess they just had like a ton of fucking copies or whatever that they had pressed and put out in the world, but it was like so cheap.
Titanfall 2 kind of came out, like, I remember when it came out, I guess in 2017, I think it was, like, it hit around the same time, like, 2 other, like, big first-person shooters came out, and I just kind of feel like it kind of got swallowed up, but, like,
The story is good.
Yeah, the campaign was very good. My only complaint about it was like it felt very segmented.
Yeah.
Because it felt very much like here you can travel through time.
Yeah.
And then like the rest of the game, it's like here you cannot. And it's like, oh, God,
I really wanted the entire game to be traveling through time. That shit was very fun.
Best part. It's the best part of the game. Like for sure.
So good. Yeah, no, I have. That is, it does not mean that I'm going to start playing Apex Legends, but it's good
hard
to know. I believe it, man. I'm bad at shooters.
I am too, especially with a controller.
Yeah.
Like I spent maybe an hour today in training mode, I cranked the sensitivity up like on the analog sticks like as high as they would go and spent an hour listening to hip hop and shooting at targets. Like I mean it was just like one of those where it's like this is enjoyable to me. Like, you know, I'll go like in a fighting game, I'll go into training mode and burn an hour. Like, no problem. Like, just trying to work out combos and stuff. But like, the problem always is I don't stick with it. You know, it's like I'll do it every now and then. And what I need to do, like, if I want to be like really good at a game, is do it like every day.
Yeah.
But it's also one of those, trade. But it's also one of those things where it's like,
it's a video game.
It's a video game and I'm a dad.
Yeah.
And I have a job. You know,
to do.
it's like, exactly. I would love to do it.
Yeah.
But I would have to be sponsored, essentially. Like, Tide would have to, like, make a really risky investment on me getting good at Apex Legends.
Well, we'll wait until you get that GamePro license.
Yeah, there we go.
It's going to be a different story.
We'll leverage it. Then we'll all be set.
Dave, the GamePro.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to. No, let's not advertise that. If anything, like, streaming on Twitch has taught me, it's like, man, I don't really know that much about video games or am good at them.
You're good at them, Dave. Come on. You beat Karnov.
You beat Karnov.
We beat Karnov.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyway, Witcher 3, I think you should play it. But I think you should play it, and I have no expectation that you will ever play it. But if you do, I will call you and be like, where are you? What's the last Gwent card you picked up?
Who's the last character you fucked?
It is the way I feel whenever I hear people talking about playing BioShock for the first time.
Yeah.
I just want to call them and be like, tell me what you're doing. Tell me where you are in the game. And particularly too being like, hey, listen, just call me back and put me on speakerphone whenever you get to Fort Frolic. I just want to hear
Fort Frolic?
Fort Frolic is the best. Oh my gosh. It is my favorite level in video games.
Wow,
I love
period.
It. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Better than any level in Karnov?
I mean, listen. I think it's just technological advancements that are holding back Karnov. If you made that shit current
today,
a
battle royale Karnov game,
let me breathe fire at a big stone head that gradually just disintegrated in front of me. Yeah, no, I'm into it.
I don't mean to take this down. Like, I don't want to take us down like a dark path.
No, don't.
But I'm going to have to.
All right.
For the sake of the show.
Are you about to tell me that Karnov passed away?
No, I was going to ask you who would win in a fight, Karnov or 2099 Funky Kong.
I think it's got to be 2099 Funky Kong because I feel like we've established that 2099 Funky Kong is giant, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Or can assume whatever size he sees fit.
So we're talking 2099 Funky Kong. Fuck.
He's like a step away from Galactus, essentially. Yeah. Funky Kong's building his power on this planet so that he can become a cosmic entity.
We're a stepping stone.
Yeah.
America, forget about it. The world.
Right. Did you know that if you look into like the code from Donkey Kong Country, it essentially prophesizes that?
And your eyes start bleeding.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Your face melts like end of Raiders.
Yeah, 100%. And
That's why no one's talked about it.
Right, exactly. They can't. The one person who survived, no one believed them.
This is a good creepypasta.
The one that's like the video game creepypasta that I think is the best, the absolute best, which me as an adult man still kind of like, even though I know it's bullshit,
come on.
still kind of creeps me out, is the one of Drowned Ben.
Majora's Mask, yes.
Majora's Mask.
That is the
that's-
answer.
Yeah.
That is definitely the answer.
Yeah. And it's like, even thinking about it, like, I don't know. I have this weird energy, you know, like this like tingly, like,
It's
because
wonderful.
I don't know. It is wonderful because
because it's so creepy and like weirdly, it does a wonderful job of setting everything up to being like, oh, this could happen. This could happen to you. You like going to garage sales and like buying old games, don't you?
You've seen video games with the labels ripped off and like the title written on it. You've popped in a cartridge, a pre-owned cartridge before and seen someone else's save files.
You used to rent games all the time and you would just see that.
Right. So they hit on all of those beats where it's like, even like I remember being a kid and it's like, it's really cool. Like, this is a vivid memory for me. I remember renting Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, getting home, opening that like blue, clear, that like, you know, the clear blue clamshell thing that, and like it had the instruction manual in it. And it's like, yes, because that was rare. They didn't always have it. And then like looking through it, reading through it, on the back page had a code on it that someone had written in.
Oh man.
In pencil. And I was like, what is this? And it's like, I don't have experiences like that anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was like a mystery. And it's like, so I put in the code and of course it takes me right to Mike Tyson who like murders me.
Punches
It's like,
you through your face.
Welcome to your first experience with this game.
Well, I can't remember if I said this on Mike's during Minute, but it's like Spider-Man that I have absolutely insisted on not looking anything up.
Yeah.
I have just played and experienced it without anyone telling me where to go. Now, granted, it does a very good job of being like, hey, here's a giant flashing thing telling you where to go.
Right.
But still, it has been nice to just completely remove the internet from my process.
It bothers me. I have trouble doing it sometimes because I know the internet is so accessible. You know, it's like I can at any time, it becomes an exercise in discipline.
Yeah.
Because it's like at any time I could look this up. And if I'm like, there are like Legend of Zelda style games, like Breath of the Wild, for example.
Oh, man. Dude.
I looked so much stuff up because it is just like, I know if I spend like 10 more seconds fucking around with this,
maybe
I'm
I will
gonna
figure it out, but
no, if I spend like 10 more seconds and don't figure it out, like I'm going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, so I'm just going to go ahead and look it up. Like that puzzle where you have to like, essentially use the switch as like a labyrinth board. And it's like, I remember like, I looked at it because like I failed on that and I just was like, easy way to finish shrine, blah, blah, blah.
And they were like, flip it over.
Yep. Yep. That was the answer. Flip it over.
I had a really hard time with that one. That was awful. But I think that I've only done like 2 TADPOG episodes in like 2 years and I'm already like, am I repeating myself? But, that is the difference between you look at the hero's journey on Galen's save of Breath of the Wild and you look at the hero's journey on mine. On Galen's, it's just this like she never teleports, she never fast travels.
Wow.
It's just like this long interconnected line.
Yeah.
Every now and again she will
Family circus
teleport
style.
around. But yeah, it's particularly too the way that she is playing the game now is she is like, yeah, I'm going to places that I haven't like colored in solidly and just like walking around in those areas and figuring it out. Yeah.
Wow.
Whereas with me, it's just like like I want to go to the next objective.
Right.
What is the next objective?
Right.
And I looked all of that up. I looked up a bunch of shit from Witcher. So like I tend to approach games now very much like, hey, I will solve this. I will do the work, but I don't want to have to like really figure shit out.
Sure.
Don't like, Don't say to me, well, you go north and you turn right at the statue that sort of looks like an ape, a funky Kong. And I don't want that.
Right.
I just want you to show me a screen cap of where I need to go on the map.
Sure.
And it would actually be helpful if you could show me a screen cap of a pin on a map. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I have lost the ability to enjoy that kind of challenge.
Yeah, no, I understand. And I think it's because of age.
Yeah.
Or honestly, I think it's because of the other responsibilities that come along with age.
That's the real point of TADPOG, I feel, is that it's the key word is not games, it is old.
Yeah.
The point of TADPOG is about two men struggling with their impending mortality.
Who don't work in the video game industry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's important too, because it's like, this is not like our livelihood. You know what I mean? Like a lot of podcasts are like video game journalists and stuff. And it's like, they're doing their own thing. And it's like, that's really cool because it's like their responsibility. It ties into what their livelihood and their responsibility. Like pretty much all this for us is just extra stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just kind of a non-expert opinion on or commentary on things.
Yeah.
So,
and God bless them. I need video game journalists out there on that wall telling me what is worth and not worth my time.
Right.
Because they spend their time because I cannot spend all of mine.
right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
God bless them.
Anything else about Into the Breach?
No, man, I don't know that it has achievements, but I don't know. I imagine it does probably, like on the Windows version or Steam, like.
Yeah, it probably does.
Yeah, probably.
It has in-game achievements that you use to unlock the squads.
Oh, well, those, yeah, but they don't have like fun, clever names.
Right. It's just
They're
like,
just like,
do this
do this.
thing. Right. It's very,
Congratulations, you did it.
It's very utilitarian.
Yeah.
Very much like Into the Breach, where it's like, look, we don't have a lot of time for frivolous things here. We got to like
we
save the world.
Spend any time naming.
Yeah, right. Who has time to name something? Giant insects are literally trying to eat us.
That's a good point. I don't even know. Like, if my child were born, but in the midst of like a giant insect invasion, I would probably be like, we're going to hold off.
Yeah.
We're going to put a pin on this. Let's figure it out in a second. Right now, I got to get in my mech. I got to fight Funky right now.
Where did the mechs come from, do you think? Like, are they like one of the corporations built them or something? Like, I know they're coming through time.
I don't think that... I don't know. I don't know that one of the corporations built them because they...
Each island is run by a corporation.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have failed to have said
Yeah, we
that.
might have skipped over that. I don't know where they are from, but I do get the sense that the first ones that you get are old.
Yeah.
That they're kind of like rust buckets.
Yeah. I kind of get that feeling too. And I don't know if it's because the game told me that.
I can't remember.
Or they just like feel that way. But they definitely feel that way.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway.
I guess that's it.
Yeah.
I think it talked about my boy Archimedes. He was my favorite pilot. He's like a robot.
Yeah,
that
I remember that guy.
He has the ability like D&D style 3.5 spring attack style where he can move, attack, and then move. And it's like, man, that mobility is like, yes, extremely rare. So, and Henry Kwan, who can like, he can avoid, he doesn't take occupied squares into consideration when he moves. Like he can move through enemies like they're not there essentially. So he's really good in like a combat mech because he can get himself in positions that other mechs can't.
Yeah.
I love all the pilots is really, that's a really nice touch that they had to the game. So
well, and also it's a bummer when you lose one. When someone dies, you care.
Yeah, because when a mech loses all of its hit points, the pilot dies. The mech
is fine.
Will come back next game. Like it's pretty much done.
Yeah,
for that round. But yeah,
well, you can heal them, but
that is true. And you can get like passive abilities and stuff. Like man, I had. You know how they'll show you where the Vec are going to emerge?
Yeah.
And you can choose the block. You can move a unit over that tile and you can block them and that unit will take damage. Your unit will take damage. Mm-hmm. I picked up a passive ability called like underplating or something like that. So no damage was taken
wow.
when you blocked a
awesome.
Vex spawn. And it was like, it was a game changer because
Yeah.
everything became about block those spawns.
Yeah.
Like, do whatever we can to block those spawns because
fucking awesome.
they're free. So
Yeah.
there a bunch of layers to this.
This is
game.
a very good
like,
game.
It's layered.
This is a very good
and it
game.
is a very good game. It is very much worth $15.
Yeah. Worth your money, worth your time.
Absolutely. Totally 100% recommend it.
And particularly something that if you are not the kind of person who is able to frequently buy video games, and if you are into this kind of game, it feels like something that you'll really have the ability to just like play the shit out of.
Yeah, I think you could get a lot of mileage out of this game.
Yeah.
For $15,
And
you could get a lot of mileage out.
and it will still be fun. It won't be something that you're like, oh God, I gotta beat this somehow.
Right.
Like, I think that you will still, if you enjoy the challenge, you will enjoy it throughout because
Yeah.
it will keep changing.
And there are 3 difficulties.
Yeah.
Like if you beat it on normal,
God, I can't even imagine what hard is
oh
like.
boy. Yeah. I don't want to think about it. Like I know in easy, in the final battle, when I was playing it on stream, there were some really cool people in there who like really knew the game.
Yeah.
And they played it a lot and they were giving me tips. It was kind of like one of those situations where it's like, I would talk through my turn and be like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And then I'd pause and like look at the camera and be like, right?
Approval?
Yeah, right. And it's like they give feedback. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So it was really cool. Like this is a game I totally feel like you could get a group of people together and
yeah.
really figure it out. Like if everybody's paying attention, they could offer suggestions. Where
Yeah.
it's like, well, what if you block that spawn first and then, do this?
Yeah.
There's just in every
A
move.
war room.
Yeah, a war room. Yeah, essentially. So
That's fun.
yeah. And because of that, I mean, I had a lot of perfect turns because every turn was very like thoroughly thought out and like peer reviewed,
That's awesome. Yeah.
So, Jacob, thank you so much for being here
Of course, at this indeterminate time.
at this, right. Whenever we are
before the rise.
before or after. Before we close it out, I have a few questions for you.
Yeah,
I
buddy.
normally would ask Tyler.
Oh.
But if Tyler were to give this game a beard
Okay.
that sums up how you feel about it,
Okay.
what kind of beard do you think he would give it?
I think he would give it like a steampunky mechanical beard.
Oh, like the
That-
beard itself is mechanical?
Yeah, like the
Okay.
beard itself is
Like has like a pipe or something coming out of it?
well, it's I just see it as the you know how in Reboot about how the bad guy had that just like really square jaw.
Yeah.
It just looks like that, but a beard
Okay, all right.
on top of a regular human's face.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Which might or might not have a real beard underneath it.
Yeah.
Probably not because the sunlight
Probably
couldn't
not.
get to it.
Yeah.
Because you got to have good sunlight, I think, to grow a beard, right?
I mean, that's
It's like-
always been my
It's like
experience.
grass.
Yeah. I go outside and lay
Right.
out every day for at least 30 minutes.
I haven't seen the sun all day, so that's why I can't do the beard.
It's too cold outside.
Yeah, it's way too cold. Jacob,
Yeah. Jacob.
if Tyler were to give this game a pair of glasses that sums up how you feel about it, what kind of glasses do you think he would give it?
I think he would give it a clutch of alien bug eyes that he is just wearing atop
That's really gross.
his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a gross game?
Well, no, it is a gross game in, certain parts where you punch the Vec and then they just like, yeah, exactly. They
Right.
do that.
I don't know how else to describe it other than like,
I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it, but it's just kind of like jazz. It just felt right. So
Yeah.
I went with it.
well, and I'm anti-improvising right now. It's like, explain yourself, explain your decision.
Baby. Hey, man. Come on. You just got to feel it.
Yeah.
Come on. Ooh.
Yeah, I've always referred to
Eyeballs.
you as the Miles Davis of video game podcasting.
That is very true.
Please change your Twitter bio. The Miles Davis of video game podcasting. Don't at me. Hashtag dab. Hashtag dab. Hashtag dab.
I keep trying to come up with like a good video game pun for bitches brew, and I can't. I can't
Oh,
can't
wow.
come up
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. I was trying though. I was working on it.
Give us a call when you get it.
I got that going for me. You're like 3 years down the line.
Yeah.
Episode like 700. You're just gonna hear me like blah blah blah. Deeply confused.
It would have been great if you had actually had it right then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Again, I'm anti-improvising you. I should have been yes-anding.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
okay. It's all right. It's
Sorry.
okay.
I haven't been trained in the arts.
You don't have to be. No one, acting is the easiest thing in the world. No one gives a shit. Come on, are you kidding me? Just get up there and say, oh,
Is that how you do it?
I'm Macbeth.
I have feelings.
What an idiot I am for having feelings.
You know what?
Acting is
when
so
you put
easy.
it that way, it really gives me a new perspective on Shakespeare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, why do we
That's all
have feelings? Fuck them.
That's all Daniel Day-Lewis does
Yeah.
all day. Oh, I like oil so much. Oh, I'm sad my kid's gone. I drink your milk
Milkshake.
cup. Yeah, that's it.
Milk cup.
Milk cup.
I do like a milk cup. I do like a nice milk cup.
It was Paul Thomas Anderson was like, it's milkshake, Dan. And he's like, oh, I'm an idiot anyway. Rolling. A good Daniel Day-Lewis impression.
I mean, hi, I'm Daniel Day-Lewis.
Oh. I'm doing a super cool face with it also.
I know, I wish
that
everyone
people
could see
won't
it.
be able to
That's
see.
okay.
Sorry.
They can visualize it. Just imagine Jacob doing a Daniel Day-Lewis face, and you got it.
Imagine Daniel Day-Lewis.
There
is
you go.
Really what it looks like.
Yeah, you know what? When you did it, I was kind of like transported to like his room, I guess. You know,
His room, which looks like your room.
It looks, yeah,
but it's his.
It's very weird. Yeah, it's like a very nicer version of this room that we're recording this in.
for Daniel Day-Lewis's Twitch stream.
Right. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, he's got this green screen, all the lights.
I'm gonna play smart ball today.
He's been actually really quiet. He's been playing
here.
Into the Breach on the couch this entire time.
Oh man.
Thanks for being here, man.
Of course, buddy.
I
Absolutely.
really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't know when this is going to come out,
Yeah,
but
me either.
it's nice to have one that might come out next week, might
Yeah.
come out next month,
Yeah.
might come out next year. I don't know.
Hopefully, whenever it comes out, Into the Breach is on sale.
Yeah, there we go.
Go buy it.
We're going to time it so that when it goes on sale, this is going to come out. Could
be
come out
awesome.
on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
The moment I get that notification, it's
Ready to drop.
every time it goes on sale, I'm going to publish this episode.
So it'll be like traveling in time each time.
All right, we got to redo the podcast where we pretended that we've traveled through time to record the podcast. We are traveling through time right now.
I mean, we are, whether we like it or not. Just by virtue of recording it now and never knowing when we are going to release it.
Right. We're time
travelers.
travelers. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. I feel awesome now.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. You can also find us on YouTube. Executive Bruiser Janie, thank you very much. She uploads our past episodes on there that are no longer on the RSS feed.
Uploads our past.
So she does. Man, time travel again. And also, hey, we're on Facebook. You know how to use that. Just search for TADPOG. We're on Twitter. You can find us, just search for TADPOG. And we're on Twitch. Just search for TADPOG.
They're catching up to me on Facebook. Maybe by the time it comes out, they will have already surpassed me, but it does feel inevitable that they will surpass me. So, go like TADPOG and just get the mountain even higher for me to surpass eventually someday.
Or like Jacob's page,
Nah,
too.
fucking no one. Everyone who listens to TADPOG who was going to like my page has already liked my page. It's over.
Well, that's how I feel.
I have every time I plug it at the end of episodes, and I'm always like, oh, maybe I'll get 1 or 2 likes out of it. Fucking nothing.
I'm glad that you said whenever you plug things at the end, because I didn't ask if there's anything that you wanted to plug. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I don't know when this is coming out.
Oh yeah.
But where can people find you?
Jake Hopster on Instagram, Jake Hopster on Twitter. Jacob, you can go to tinyurl.com/Jacob York to get to my Facebook page.
Tiny Facebook page.
Also, too, there's one other thing. If you're interested in liking it, that I guess I'll mention here. I'm part of a film collective that is just starting called Mirror Box Films.
Is Mirror Box one or two words?
2 words. Yeah, and they're doing some really cool stuff over there. Go
Cool.
like that if you're into movies. Cool.
I didn't know that. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, please. I posted about it on Facebook here, I don't know, a little bit ago. But
Okay.
yeah, but also too, I am on Facebook so little now.
Me too.
Like
on purpose.
Yeah, and I do not think that, and I mean, far be it from me to like get up on a high horse about social media, because I really love social media. Galen like hates Twitter, hates Facebook, hates all of it. And I am very much like, no, your social media experience is the one that you deserve. You create the world on social media that you want. But
I don't buy into that.
See, well, I buy into it on Facebook. And I buy into it on Instagram. I do not buy into it on Twitter.
Just like you're talking about curating your feed and stuff? Or
yeah.
What? Okay.
But also too, like, there are some times that I'm hesitant to say something on Twitter just because I don't want like the ravaging hordes to come after me. Because every time I've even been like a celebrity has replied to me, it has become too much for me within like 15 minutes.
When does that happen?
Fucking like several years ago, like, I don't know, Chad Ochocinco retweeted something that I wrote.
What?
And
That's
it
awesome.
was like, there was, oddly enough, talking about Daniel Day-Lewis. That is not a joke. That is not a...
Oddly enough, talking about Funky Kong.
So, but yeah, and it's within like 15 minutes, I was like, how do celebrities put up with it? I guess they turn their notifications off, but like, this was before you could turn off notifications for people that were not following you,
Sure.
or people that didn't have a blue check mark or whatever the fuck. I was just, and so much of it was just like, you're dope. And I was like, please take me out of this conversation. You don't need to at me if you're talking to Chad Ochocinco. What are you doing? Like, all that I ask is a little basic internet literacy. So anyway, all of that to say, I do not feel that way on Twitter, but like, I don't know, Facebook is fucking up, man. They are fucking up massively right now. And it's a real heartbreaker because I have enjoyed my time on social media, but I am no longer convinced that it is good for people.
Yeah, I know. I know.
It's a tough place to be in because
Yeah.
I feel like a decision is coming for all of us where we are going to have to be like, is this worth it? Mm-hmm. Is it? I know you like seeing pictures of your friends' kids, but like, is it worth it? All of the bad shit? So,
Yeah, I don't know.
great way to end this episode.
Yeah, if you want to find us on one of those places, you can.
Going dark.
Go for it. The thing with like Facebook for me is me personally, like when I spend a day off of it, I'd feel better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just feels like, I don't know, man. When I'm on there, it literally feels like, I shouldn't say, it feels like a waste of time.
Yeah.
It does. Cause it's like, I'll get sucked in and it's like, it doesn't feel like when I play a video game where it's like, this is like, I don't
Where
know,
it's
stimulating.
objective-based.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's no objective to Facebook.
right. I mean, I'm being just as productive one way or the other, but I mean, I don't know. I feel stimulated in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, so my big problem is I stay on there for too long. And I also like, what's been nice is I've taken this new approach where it's like, if I'm not online and someone sends me a message at this point now, that's just an email to me.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll see it when I get online,
Yeah.
you know, which is, I guess.
So that means I need to text you more
me.
as
Yeah,
opposed to,
yeah.
okay.
No, if it's something that
Good to know.
like you want to talk to me about like immediately, text
Okay.
me, because otherwise I'll just see it whenever I log in to Facebook or something. I haven't gotten to the point where I haven't turned notifications off.
Yeah.
That's why like when you DM me on Twitter, like I get a notification and it's like, oh, okay. But like Messenger and stuff like that, yeah, I'm not.
All right.
I'm not nearly as active as I used to be.
Good to know.
So, and I missed your post about
Nah.
Mirror Box Films. So I'm glad that you told me.
Yeah, it's cool. Like, I don't know if anything, but you know, whenever this is released, who knows? Like, we might have some movies to talk about, but we'll see. We'll see.
May or may not be Funky Kong based, I'm guessing.
I mean, I cannot comment.
All right. Okay,
I cannot
excellent.
confirm nor deny.
But it does involve Daniel Day-Lewis
Yeah.
and Ocho Cinco.
It involves Daniel Day-Lewis, Ocho Cinco, and
The Rock.
and definitely a surfboard.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis plays the surfboard.
Yeah. And Ocho Cinco plays. Nah, wait.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah, probably not. We'll go no.
Yeah. Daniel Day-Lewis plays Funky Kong.
Yeah, it's like an Eddie Murphy movie, but with Daniel Day-Lewis. He just plays everybody.
Plays everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. DDL as, like, Donkey Kong would be so good.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would go to that in a minute.
Yeah.
If I found out that he was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it would make me feel better about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a get that would be for
That'd
them.
be pretty great. They need to straight up own that movie is a comedy, and I think people would kind of start chilling the fuck up about it, because it's like, it does look super disturbing, but like when you look at the cast and like, Jim Carrey's involved, it's like, well, this is not.
Is Jim Carrey going to be Robotnik?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, right? I want to see
like,
that.
That works.
It did work. I don't know if it still works.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
curious
true.
to see.
That guy is in a hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how he's ever gonna get out.
It probably
but I'm
not-
sure that he would be like, "No, man, you're in the hole.
Right.
I'm doing
Right.
fine."
Yeah, exactly. But if he were in a hole, I doubt it's the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that's going to get him out of there.
Yeah.
You know who I'd love to see play Dr. Robotnik?
Who?
Is Steve Martin.
Okay.
And don't tell him anything. Like, the director is not allowed to tell him anything about Dr. Robotnik. He just has a name to go on. That's actually what I want. I want the Sonic the Hedgehog movie to be
Essentially improvised.
right. But well, yeah. I mean, they get a script.
Yeah.
But they don't get any like. It's people who have they don't know who Sonic the Hedgehog is.
Day of.
Right. Yes.
We're going scene by scene. You don't have to memorize more than 3 lines at a time.
Right, exactly. And no one's allowed. It's kind of like when you are called in for jury duty and they interview you. Like, they ask you questions. They're like, do you know who Dr. Robotnik is? And if they like can't come up, like if they start naming like a surgeon or something, they're like, you're in. So it's not
But
based
if they're
on
like, I don't agree with him putting bunny rabbits inside mechanical bunny rabbits.
You're out.
That's no, thank you.
scratch off.
Yeah, juror number 20 is excused.
Sorry, Sandra Bullock, you're out. I want to live in a world where Sandra Bullock is dying to be in a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Total Sonic, loves Knuckles.
Yeah.
Begging to play Knuckles.
I hope Knuckles is in this movie.
I bet he won't be in the movie because they're counting on a sequel.
Well, do you think Tails will be in the movie, or do you think
I
they're
think Tails
holding
will
on
be
to
in the
Tails?
movie.
I hope Tails is in the movie.
I think Tails is going to be in the movie, and I think that the plan is going to be whatever. If it's a success and they release number 2, then it's going to be the same teaser poster as before, but with Knuckles on the other side.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know anything about it, but
It sounds like you kind of do.
that's my call. Well, it depends on when this gets released. Maybe I do.
Oh, this whole time I've probably been hurting your feelings.
Think about it. I can't say anything,
Yeah.
but let me say some things.
All right. Okay.
Let me just make some eyes at you about how fast I'm going.
Yeah. You are wearing a blue sweatshirt. All right. You heard it here first. The only other thing I have to say is that we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/TADPOG.
Give them money.
I just published a post today of Tyler and I with
When?
our waifu pillows. Oh, I'm sorry. The day that we are recording this.
At one point.
Yeah, at some point
It
in
was
the past.
previously published.
Yes, right. Yeah. And I'm not planning on taking that content down. So if you want to see photographs of Tyler and I with our waifu pillows in a professional-ish style photo
very funny.
shoot, then I urge you to give us $1 and check it out.
I like the one where you guys were doing the wolf.
The wolf pack, that was a Tyler idea, and it was
Yeah.
like, that's a winner.
It was.
Yeah, he mentioned it, and I was like, yeah. Yeah,
works.
of course. Why didn't I think of that? Yeah. So, yeah.
Very good.
And that's it, man. Thanks again for being on.
Of course. Happy to do it.
Our theme song is Moves by Sycamore Drive. A link to that can be found in the show notes at tadpog.com. Jacob, how would you like to close it out?
Why don't you pick? I picked last time.
In the spirit of the VEC, let's close it out as... I cannot remember his name.
Oh, man.
Zorak from Space Ghost.
Okay.
It is Zorak,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it took me I had to really reach way back in there.
Yeah, because you are the only one you remember. What? Yes, it's Zorak, it's Brack, and it's Moltar.
Right.
Okay.
And it's I'm trying to think of Zorak, and all that's in my mind is, my name is Mango, and I like to... It's yeah, Brack. So,
All right.
so until next time...
Tropical Capricorn.
I need locust sounds back behind there. And we're recording, and we're live. Yeah. And record, and
It was the button press that got me.
well, the reason I did it is because I thought I was recording already. Yeah, that's exactly why I pressed it the way that I did, because I was like, oh
shit,
we are not recording. And it's yeah, now we are. So everything that would have been really bad. That could have been
we just
recorded a podcast,
talked
and
about
then,
Into the Breach.
Oh man, I forgot to.
You know what? Let's just roll right into a second episode.
Yeah, let's just right.
Let's talk about Spider-Man.